What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dad Needs to Talk. I'm your host, Robert, and today we have a lot to catch up on because it has been an insane couple of weeks since the last regular podcast episode. So, we're going to be talking about back to school shenanigans, helping my wife's grandmother move. I had to travel back home, as well as, and that's just life stuff, but we'll also touch on all the game announcements from Gamescom, and if I have time, maybe even talk about, I might say that for next week. I might touch on maybe some of the anime that I'm checking in, or I might do that for next week. I don't know. We'll see. But so, as always, if this is your first time here, then welcome. But if you're a returning listener and or watcher, then welcome back. Y'all know here at Danny's to Talk, it's all about fatherhood and family, manga, anime, TV shows, movies, and of course, some video games. So, yeah, y'all. I know I squeezed in a gaming specific episode, I think last week, whatever, talking about some final news with Concord, and Game Informer closing down and stuff. So go check that out if you're interested in those things. But otherwise, man, I have been wanting to record, but life has just been crazy nonstop. And as always, for those of y'all listening, if this is your first time here, all of my stuff, or majority of my stuff, I should say, is both available audio only on podcast streaming services, as well as video version on YouTube. So follow, subscribe, all that fun stuff. So yeah, it has been an insane 16 days. Literally the day that I posted my last regular episode, and what did I name it? The Passing of Eras. Yeah, because I talked about the Dead Wolverine and Deadpool movie, and the ending of My Hero Academia and stuff surrounding like that. Life just got insane. So before I even get to the back to school stuff, which has been a whole boatload of shenanigans within itself. So the week before, so my kids started school on August 12th. So last Monday. So we just finished off the end of week 2. So things escalated quickly, and long story short, we had to help my wife's grandmother move out of her house, and she is now living here with us in our lovely 3-bedroom apartment. So yeah, so me and my wife, the grandma, and 5 kids. Yeah. If anybody out there has $1 million that they want to donate to us getting a house, please. but yeah, so we had to pull together across a handful of days, and luckily, even though it was a little bit of inconvenience, but luckily it happened before school started back, whatever. So schedules were still a little bit more looser and freer and stuff at the time. And so pretty much for a few days, there was actually a couple of days where my wife and all the kids were gone, and they kind of just stayed up there to help with the move and stuff. So because I still had to work, I couldn't just take off from work and stuff, whatever. So so that was going on. And so yeah, my body was very sore, very hurting. It was very trying across the board. Like, yeah, it was crazy. Just because, like I said, because it was a lot had to be done, a lot of stress across the board. My wife collapsed at one point. It was not fun. So in the midst of all this moving and stuff, sorry, I keep feeling like somebody about to come knock on my door. Hold on. So, in the midst of all the moving and stuff, whatever, so I'm going to call this the Oklahoma incident that happened. So, my wife's grandmother lived an hour and a half north of us, pretty much close to the Oklahoma Texas border. That's how far up she was from us. And for context, we're close to Fort Worth side of DFW Metroplex. So my family, my wife, them, they had, she had some free nights available at the Choctaw Casino or whatever. So I was like, hey, instead of every day driving an hour and a half back and forth each way, hey, they'll just drive, 20 minutes or so, whatever, and go stay at the hotel there, whatever, for free, whatever, and just hang out, have a good time, whatever. So the Oklahoma incident. So I worked all day. I worked my normal shift or whatever, and then I drove from work up to the grandma's, whatever, because I was going to help with some packing and stuff, whatever, for a couple hours before they go up to the hotel, and then I go back home for the night or whatever, because I still got work and stuff. So it's an hour from my job to the grandma's house, whatever. So drive an hour up, whatever. We work for a few hours, whatever. Gets around 7-ish, 8 o'clock, close to 8 o'clock, whatever. And it's like, okay, cool. We're about to wrap it up for the day, whatever, and we'll come back tomorrow, whatever. So, load stuff up in different cars. And so, for some context before what I'm about to get into, whatever, what happened. So, my wife is driving my car because I have the big SUV or whatever, and I'm driving my wife's smaller car. So, they go, I go, whatever. By the time driving that far, whatever, I get home, it's about 9-ish, whatever. So I'm deadbeat tired. I come home, I eat good, shower, relax. I'm like, man, you know what? I'm going to go to bed early, whatever, tonight, whatever, just get some rest, whatever. As soon as I'm about to lay down, phone rings. It's like right at 10 p.m. My wife calls me. She's like, hey, we might have a problem. And I'm like, what's up? So she's like, hey, was there a small bag in your car? And I already knew because I saw like a little bag in the car, whatever, but there was some stuff that we put in my wife's car that I was driving, whatever, for me to just go and take back home that wasn't going to go into the storage or whatever. And so I was like, yeah. She was like, that was her grandmother's medicine. And so she needed the medicine. So at 10 o'clock at night, I had to drive to Oklahoma, which is about an hour 40 or so, whatever, from home. So I ended up getting up to Oklahoma about 12:30, middle of the night or whatever, and then get there, whatever. I'm deadbeat tired because even just like on the drive home from the grandma's house to my house, whatever, like I started having muscle spasms while I'm driving. So it was not a good scene. So going through whatever, so I'm like, crap, okay, I gotta tough it out, get through it. So I get there, whatever, and I'm like, ain't no way I can drive back, whatever, at this time of night or whatever. I'm gonna have to just stay, whatever. Well, it's a lot of us in this one hotel room, even though there's 2 beds, whatever. I was like, we got to see what we can do, whatever. So long story short, we found out we were able to get another room or whatever. So I was able to sleep peacefully. So for context of how this all happened, and it is honestly, while as frustrating as it was in the moment or whatever, it was honestly a simple, honest mistake. Because clearly the kids know that daddy's car is the black SUV. Mommy's car is the small white car, whatever. So when they were telling the kids to put stuff in certain places, whatever, they were saying, hey, put this in mommy's car, put this in daddy's car. But what should have been said, or in the context, was they did what they were told, technically on paper. They put the grandmother's medicine in mommy's car, not the car that mommy was driving. So, yeah. So, innocent mistake, but it led to deadbeat tiredness, whatever. Because like by the time we finally get all the hotel stuff situated, get another room, whatever, it is now 2 a.m. And I am like, I don't think I'm going to be able to get up for work in a few hours, whatever. In this state of exhaustion I'm in or whatever. So, anywho, I ended up just sleeping in or whatever, and then going into work like 9 something or whatever. So it ended up being fine. So that was that. Then we ended up going to the weekend, finishing up with the moving and stuff, whatever. So in between the moving stuff, whatever, I had to drive back home for a funeral. Because a very close family friend of ours, whatever, had passed away. One of my close friends and classmates, their grandmother, her grandmother and my mom were super close, whatever, knew the lady my whole life. So I'm like, hey, I don't care what else I got going on or whatever. I got to make this trip back home happen or whatever. And so my hometown, for those of y'all that know whatever, is Jasper. I'm up in Dallas, back in Jasper. That's about 4.5 hours away or whatever. But hey, I made it happen. It was a 1 day turnaround trip, whatever, but it was definitely more than worth it. So while I was back home, went to the funeral and stuff, whatever, I got to see some family friends and some a couple of classmates and stuff, whatever, people I hadn't seen in many, many years because I never go back there anymore. I never go back home to my hometown anymore, whatever, especially because obviously my mom and my sister are gone. So not too many, strong reasons to go back too much, whatever. So, but while I was down there, of course, just drove through town, kind of took it in. And it is always so interesting going back home because I truly see like Jasper is like so kind of just like paused in time because hey, small, deep southeast Texas, country town or whatever, not a lot going on, but I did see a few bright spots here and there where there has been growth or there have been people trying to rejuvenize and pretty up areas of the city and the downtown, the park, and all that stuff, whatever. Because like we always had like a basketball court down there, whatever, but they built it up, whatever, made it into like a big covered pavilion area, whatever, with like I think I can't remember. I feel like it was always 2, maybe 4 goals. I can't remember, but either way, whatever, it's now I think 6 or 8, which is awesome. I think I saw a freaking skate ramp behind the library, which is super dope, and just lots of other stuff, whatever. But then just like driving through the neighborhood where me and my mom used to live or whatever, seeing that there's like nothing in that spot anymore, whatever. Drove by all of my old schools, elementary, middle school, high school, whatever, seeing a few changes here and there, but still, most of them still look the way they did back in the day. And then, of course, the number one thing I always do when I go back home is I drive out to the country to my family's land where my grandparents and great grandparents' houses and stuff, whatever, were at one point in time, whatever. So, but it is always, especially in like the last handful of years or whatever, it is always like so disheartening in a way, whatever, just because it's like, man, I wish I was in a financial position to pretty up the land or whatever because it's just become overgrown with trees and tall grass, all this stuff, whatever, which, makes sense because, all of my mom's siblings, whatever, they're all up in age or whatever, 60s, 70s and stuff, whatever. I think that the gentleman, the family friend that my mom and my aunts and uncles were paying over the years to go out there and periodically cut stuff down, keep it clean up, whatever. I think that person probably passed away a while ago, whatever, because that person was old when I was a kid. So I'm pretty sure they're probably long gone at this point, or just not physically able to continue that work. So, but I hope that someday, even if it's many years from now, I hope that someday I'm able to revitalize my family land or whatever and stuff. So, but yeah, aside from that, I also go out and visit my grandparents and great grandparents' graves out there and stuff, whatever. So, just went out there, whatever, and just paying my respects and stuff, whatever. And then I had a moment, and I took this picture here where I was walking back to my car because I kind of parked like right off of the road and then just walked down the little pathway, whatever, into the cemetery, down to the graves, whatever. And before I got back in my car, whatever, I just stopped and listened and heard nothing, nothing, and just like really taking in the silence. No airplanes or helicopters passing by overhead, no crazy sounds of traffic, no people, kids screaming or talking or chattering or whatever, just silence. Just the wind blowing, nature, and I stood there on the road and I looked both ways, not a car in sight, not a person in sight or whatever, and it is like, wow, this is something that I need on a regular basis because y'all, those of y'all that listen to me for a while, know how busy and hectic my life schedule is, as I will get into in a minute once I start talking about the back to school stuff, whatever. But being able to be in this place with dead silence, and I was like, man, I need this. And so it's like, man, like I might need to figure something out or whatever, to where even if it's just like a 1 day getaway or whatever, every a few times throughout the year or whatever, I need to just go back, unplug, unwind or whatever, and just be at peace for a day, just to kind of recharge or whatever. So, but yeah, so that was my trip back home, and then like I said, I came back, and then we had to do a crazy final day of packing and moving and stuff, whatever. And then still in the midst of this, whatever, also back to school prepping or whatever, haircuts and getting hair done and clothes shopping and all this different stuff, whatever, in the midst of the move and me going back home. It was a lot. And so, yeah, so here we are now back to school. So it is insane to look at this image. I now have 3 ninth graders. My oldest son is 15. Girls are 14. Middle boy is 6th grade at 11. And then little man Vash, he is 6 years old and 1st grade. And so just like looking at this picture, whatever, of my family and stuff, and it's just like, man, like we're about to start another era is about to begin, and we kind of just like hit the ground running, whatever. And so one thing I will say, and I encourage some of y'all, especially as y'all maybe kids get older or whatever, or get more involved or just different stuff, whatever, if you have PTO, take it. Because I took 2 days off for work, whatever, which I was planning on doing long before we got involved with the moving stuff, whatever. But since the moving stuff came up, whatever, I was extra glad that I took off. But yeah, so I had shoot, what am I about to say? So I took off the first 2, which ended up turning into 3 days of the first few days of school, whatever. And in the future, I'll probably just take the whole week if I can, if I got the time for it or whatever. Just because it was a lot, it's gonna be a lot of adjustment, and it's gonna be changing every few months, whatever, as the seasons and the sports and all this stuff change, whatever. So, but thankfully, we have them still in kind of a couple of groups. We have 3 together in one group, and then we have the younger 2 still in elementary together, whatever. Now next year it'll escalate even more, because then we'll be spread across 3 schools, even though technically we're spread across 2.5 schools, because I've mentioned before, but the school district that my kids are in or whatever, 9th grade is still at the middle school. So elementary is pre-K to 6th grade, middle school is 7th, 8th, and 9th, and then high school is 10th through 12. But if you're into athletics or whatever, then you're going back and forth between the middle school and the high school, which is where some of the shenanigans and stuff come up, whatever. So depending on the day of the week or whatever, some days my oldest daughter, she has to be dropped off at the high school for 1 hour, 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. For cross country practice, whatever. So I have to drop her off and then go back and pick her up to then take her over to the middle school before she does her schoolwork. And then at the end of the day, they get on a bus from the middle school back to the high school where they have their athletic classes and afternoon practices and stuff. And so we go and pick them up from there, whatever. So she has 6:30 a.m. to 7:30, and then starting next week, my oldest son, he has 7 to 7:45 in the mornings and stuff, whatever, on a couple of mornings or whatever. So that's gonna be fun juggling, trying to figure out days and schedules on that. And then it's staggered in the afternoon because, sometimes, the girls might finish at like 4 o'clock, 4:30. Jay, he'll finish sometimes around the same time, sometimes it's later, whatever. So it's a lot of back and forth and stuff with those three on that stuff, whatever. So, and I can't even imagine like once like basketball season come and then going to the games and all this stuff, whatever. Because so right now, so my oldest daughter, she made JV in cross country. I'm not sure where the girls are on the basketball teams yet, but my son so far has the honor of being one of two, I think, maybe three, but I think two freshmen that are going to be on varsity. So we're kicking up another notch. So it's another notch on his belt, being a freshman, going on to varsity, coming into high school, quote unquote. So I'm very excited to see his growth and stuff with that. And as some of y'all that saw the picture just now, whatever, too, will notice that he cut his dreads. So he was just wanting to try something new with his hair, whatever. So we had to do the big chop. He's been growing it, I think, for 5 or 6 years. So did the big chop, whatever, and he's gonna, let it grow out again and do something else, whatever. So, but yeah, so that's that. Also, speaking of cross country, so up here, so for context, so back when I was in high school and I did cross country, whatever, our cross country meets were Saturday mornings. So yes, I still had to get up super early because especially once I kind of got more familiar and established with it or whatever, our head coach, shout out and rest in peace to Coach Spoon, Lloyd Weatherspoon Jr. He lived not too far from me, so he had to pass by my house on the way to the high school. So we kind of worked out a thing to where as long as I was up and ready, whatever, he would come pick me up, and then I would ride with him up to the school. And then while he was going to get the bus, whatever, from the bus barn and stuff, whatever, I would be in the locker room, kind of help prepping equipment and getting stuff ready for us to go to the meet or whatever. So I was up freaking 4 a.m. and stuff, whatever, for that, because, it's like, in the grand scheme of things, whatever, if I wasn't able to catch a ride or whatever, I would just walk, just because we didn't have a car growing up. So, but yeah, so that I was used to. Well, here, they run cross country before school. So when she told me, she was like, yeah, so I need to be dropped off at 5 a.m. On this day or whatever, and then the cross country meet was an hour away. I think they ran it in Denton the other day, whatever, and I was like, yo, I was so dead tired yesterday, y'all, man. Like I had to get up at 4. I think I got up at 4:15. 4 o'clock, 4:15. Got her up or whatever. Got her dropped off at 5, and at that point, I just said screw it, and I just went to work at 5 a.m. I got to work at about 5:30 on the dot. Just clocked in, started doing stuff, whatever, and then I ended up leaving a little bit early, hoping to try to catch a nap, but that didn't happen being a parent, other stuff came up, whatever, and then, it is what it is. But yeah, so I was like, yo, I can't even imagine running a cross country meet and then having to go to class. No, thank you. I do not envy my daughter in that situation and stuff. So, but yeah, so that probably gonna be a thing at least one day a week at the like Thursday or Friday, I think. Getting up ultra early, getting her there or whatever. But so that's the situation with the big kids. So Vash had an incident. I think literally the second day of school he had to miss because so they've changed up some stuff with the bus system, whatever. Which on one hand is positive because all the kids in the school district now, whatever, have these like little badges or whatever that they have on them that they badge in and out when they're getting on and off the bus, so they can kind of help keep check of roll and tracking of where everybody is and stuff, whatever. And there's an app or a site, I can't remember which one it is, whatever. Basically, you can see updates on your kid on, okay, they did get on the bus here, or okay, oh, what happened? They didn't get on the bus, yada yada yada, or whatever. So that's good. But of course, obviously, that's led to a little bit of slowdown with getting on and off the bus and stuff, whatever. And I do appreciate though that they do have kind of like I'm calling it kind of like a buddy system thing, to where if there's a sibling that is at least third grade or older, then they can get off the bus together or whatever. And so, but they just have to link them together in the system, makes sense, whatever. But saying all that to say, second day of school. So my wife is taking the little ones to the bus stop, whatever. To the bus stop, whatever. And so the bus stopped in a different spot or whatever, which is the kids are getting on in this kind of like patch of grass or whatever. On paper, whatever. Well, obviously the kids are standing longer in one spot or whatever. So long story short, Vash ends up standing in an ant pile that nobody can see because the grass was because of the way the grass was, whatever. So he's freaking out or whatever, runs across the street or whatever back to my wife. So luckily everybody's obeying the laws or whatever. And this isn't like a highway, to clarify, whatever. It's just like a small like street through like apartments, whatever. Because we just like park on our side and then just walk across to the bus stop or whatever. Well, he freaked out or whatever, running back to mommy or whatever. Of course, like, what the heck, what is going on over there? He's like, mommy. And then she notices ants all over his leg, all up in his Crocs, whatever. Horrible situation. Obviously hitting up the school, whatever, because we had to make sure he was good. He got, I think he got maybe like a couple like small bites, whatever. Luckily, no allergic reactions, nothing crazy, whatever. But yeah, because I had dropped off. Yes, I had dropped off my daughter at school, and then I came back to the house. Or no, I think I dropped off at practice. Whatever the situation was, I was coming back to the house, whatever. And my wife was pulling back up, or was getting out the car with Vash, and I'm like, what the heck? What is going on? Why is he not on the bus? I'm about to go off on whatever, and then but then like she gets him out the car and then just like throws his shoes off to the side in the parking lot, and I'm like, what the heck? And then she explains what happened. I'm like, oh, and so for like a few minutes, whatever, I would like bang his Crocs on the ground. Of course, once they got him in the house, I stand outside with the shoes or whatever, bang him on the side or whatever a little bit. An ant or two would fall out, and then I just kind of just set him on the balcony for a bit, go back, did it again, because obviously they kind of like clinging to the shoe or whatever. So we had a message to the teacher, like, hey, so Vash ain't going to be here for the second day of school. Told her the situation, whatever. I'm like, good Lord. I'm like, we had this crazy moving situation. I had to go back home for a funeral, more moving and stuff, whatever, back to school stuff, Aunt's second day of school. It is just like, yo, what is happening? So yeah, but thankfully all that, everything's starting to kind of flow. We're getting used to kind of times and stuff, whatever. We have a family group chat or whatever, to where it's like, hey, just message in the chat if you gotta stay longer after school for this, or if you need to be, you ready to be picked up, yada yada yada. Just so that me, specifically so that me and my wife are both on the same page, because a lot of times, you know, I'm coming from work, whatever, and they'll talk or text my wife, whatever, separately, individually, whatever, to be like, oh, okay, hey, yes, I'm staying, or hey, I'm ready, or da 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 da. I won't know, and then I'll go straight to the school from work. I'm waiting, like, where is everybody? And they're like, oh no, well, we told mommy we were gonna stay, so just to kind of cut out all that or whatever. Hey, group text, just put it in there, whatever. And my kids have definitely been more getting better, whatever. Still, some things slip through the cracks as they do with kids, but things have gotten better with the communication and keeping us updated and stuff, whatever. So, yeah, so 30 minutes of life talk, whatever. But yeah, it has been insane. Oh, and to cap all this off, whatever, I had a dentist appointment or whatever, and I ended up having to get a root canal on Tuesday, second day of school, which led to me taking that third day off. Because freaking like half my face was numb. Like, yeah, it is so weird with this freaking temporary crown they got in my mouth or whatever. So yeah, which that's another reason why I didn't record last week, whatever, too, originally, because of my freaking speech and stuff was kind of slurred a bit or whatever. So, but anyway, so yeah, so that has been my adventures in life and everything for the last 16 days. Okay, so yeah, so let's dive into before I get into like all the gaming stuff I want to talk about or whatever, just a couple of just like quick like news bits I just want to hit on real quick, unrelated to game stuff, what I just want to touch on. So first of all, I came across this. There's going to be a Prime Video documentary thing that is executive produced by Shaquille O'Neal, called The Money Game, and what it is an all access pass into the 2023/24 athletics season of LSU athletics, and the docu-series basically follows 4 young athletes, whatever, the gymnast Olivia Doon, Angel Reese, Flau'jae Johnson, and on the football side of things, the Heisman winner, Jaden Daniels. And basically, it is touching on the historic turning point in the NCAA with the NIL change, which is the name, image, and likeness deal that happened in 2021, and how that has affected them and the changes and everything that kind of went into it over these last few years since it went into effect in 2021. So that is something I am eagerly waiting to watch, whatever, because obviously, like I've talked about all the time, whatever, my kids do sports, whatever, and stuff like this is stuff that I try to stay tuned into, just because you just never know where life might take you or what opportunities might come up. And so that's why I love listening to different interviews and discussions and documentaries and stuff, whatever, of different famous people, different athletes, and different stuff like that or whatever, as preparation and just general knowledge for stuff that either my kids are currently going through or could potentially get into, whatever. And so this is like a big one that I definitely just like, just for being informed on things, whatever. And I enjoy and have followed the career of a lot of these athletes and stuff, whatever. So very excited and interested in watching that. So like I said, it's called The Money Game, and it is coming out, I want to say like October or November, something like that. Let me see if I can find the date. September 10th. Okay, never mind. So just in a few weeks. So yeah, so I will be looking for that. So yeah, so The Money Game, LSU, September 10th. So next thing is what is her name? Katie Seagal has been cast as Dr. Kureha in the One Piece live action series. Now, those of y'all, a lot of y'all should be familiar with this name, but if you're not, Dr. or Katie Seagal, she was, I think the name was Peggy in Married with Children back in the 90s. She is also Gemma in Sons of Anarchy, so Jax Teller's mom. She's also the voice of Layla in Futurama. She's also the voice that I just discovered of Spinelli's mom in Recess, the cartoon from back in the day, and lots of other roles over the years and stuff, whatever. So, but yeah, so that is like a very dope casting get that they got for Dr. Kureha. So I'm definitely excited to see what happens with that. And last little bit of news I want to just touch on or whatever. I'm not going to talk about the series or whatever, but just as a heads up that Jujutsu Kaisen. So remember, My Hero Academia, the manga for that ended a couple weeks ago or whatever, so that is done. Next up, Jujutsu Kaisen. 5 chapters left. So that will be ending in a few weeks or whatever. And so the internet has been in a tizzy. Spoilers galore all over the internet and stuff, whatever. Because the most recent chapter leaked online or whatever. I saw what the spoilers were or whatever, but I'm like, whatever. Because I'm like 20 something chapters behind. But I do plan on catching up just to be there at the finale with everybody else on the internet and stuff. So, but yeah, so Jujutsu Kaisen coming to an end in 4 to 5 weeks. So plan accordingly and tread carefully on the internet because they are ruthless out here. All right, so I think that's it with the new stuff I wanted to touch on. Yeah, so I want to just briefly touch on a little bit of gaming stuff, and then I don't know, depending on how I feel, I may or may not get to anime stuff, whatever. I might save that for for an episode next week. I don't know, but we'll see. So let me pull up this stuff for this gaming news. Okay, so I'm gonna just run down just some of these headlines. I'm using Polygon as my site of reference here, but just kind of just scrolling down, just like I said, just briefly touching on some of these announcements or whatever. So so Borderlands 4 was officially announced, coming out sometime in 2025. I can't remember. I don't think I talked about it on the podcast yet because I think I had. Yes, so so all I'm gonna say about this is that I went and saw the Borderlands movie last or on release weekend or whatever. Not good. Not good. Now, all the stuff I was talking about that I was doing at the time or whatever, with all the moving and going back home and all that stuff, whatever. Yes, I know I was super tired, but I was dozing off during the movie a couple times. And I was like, man, I was feeling bad, but there was literally a dude a few seats over from me or whatever that was like completely knocked out, like for like several minutes at a time, a couple of times during the movie. And then there was one point where I looked over and he was just kind of just looking at the screen, just kind of like that the Homelander gif with Homelander just watching the movie, just stone face, whatever. I was just like, man, this movie is so bleh. But anywho, so yeah, so don't waste your time with the movie. It's not even it's so bad it's good. It's just no. But yeah, so Borderlands 4 coming out next year. Mafia: The Old Country. So only game in the Mafia series I've ever played is Mafia 3, which I freaking love that game. Despite its few flaws or whatever, I just really love the main character, Lincoln Clay. and the setting and the music, all that stuff, whatever. And I do want to go back and play some of the original Mafia games because I know they've remade, I think, both of them, whatever, because I have them. I'm pretty sure they were on PlayStation Plus at some point in time, so I definitely want to check them out. Let me see, Mafia. Sorry, I'm checking it. Okay, yeah, Mafia Definitive Edition. Yeah, okay, yeah, I got both of them. Mafia 1 and 2 Definitive Edition were both on PlayStation Plus at various points in time, so I have them in my library, so maybe I might try to get around to them at some point and play them. So, but anyway, Mafia the Old Country promises to uncover the origins of organized crime with a gritty mob story set in the brutal underworld of 1900 Sicily. So that should be interesting, and I think that's listed to return next year as well. Probably one of the biggest kerfuffles that happened at Gamescom is the news surrounding Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. So they announced the game's release date for Xbox and PC, which is going to be December 9th. But they also announced, which this has been rumored for a long time, but the fact that they clarified that they did this at this announcement, whatever, was that they confirmed that it's also coming to PlayStation 5 in the spring of 2025. So just within less than 3 to 6 months, it'll be on PS5. So kind of funny, but yeah. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle has a date now, December 9th. They show some more Black Ops stuff. Don't really care. There is going to be an open beta for that in the coming weeks, whatever. If you're interested in Call of Duty, whatever. I'm not, but my wife and kids probably will play it. Dying Light: The Beast. What is this? A thrilling standalone zombie adventure set in a tightly crafted rural area. So that's coming. I don't think there's no year or anything on that, but it's coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. So this next one from Supermassive called Directive 8020. So this is a new game in the Dark Pictures anthology. Stars Lashana Lynch, who was in Captain Marvel and The Woman King. It is a sci-fi survival horror game, and plays the groundbreaking astronaut Young in what Supermassive describes as an immersive cinematic horror experience. So that blends survival gameplay with branching narrative story. So might be interesting, but yeah, that's coming out next year. Ghost Simulator, I don't care. King of Meat, don't really care. Linked, Banner of the Spark, Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. Okay, I didn't know this. Okay, so this is the new game from the original Life is Strange developers. This got a date for, let's see. Okay, so it's gonna launch in 2 parts. First part is on February 18th, and the second part is on March 18th. So that's gonna be very interesting. So, I don't know. Depending on how that is, I might just wait until March and just play it all together. But we'll see. Let's see. Arc Raiders, don't know what that is. Creator of the Finals, don't have a clue what that is. Infinity Nikki, don't care. Dune Awakening, still no day. They just showed more gameplay, whatever, but it's coming early 2025. Reanimal. Oh, this is the new game from the original developers of Little Nightmares. So yeah, so a new kind of like a game, kind of like horror style adventure game. No date or anything, so but that's interesting. More stuff from Monster Hunter Wilds and Civilization 7, don't care. Well, Civilization 7 is coming out February 11th, 2025, for those of you that care. Marvel Rivals got a date. It will be free to play, coming out December 6th. So there's a new animated anthology series called Secret Level from the people who made that Love, Death, and Robots series on a couple years back, whatever, which I still haven't seen yet. But it's gonna feature some stories set in the worlds of Armored Core, Dungeons and Dragons, Mega Man, Pac-Man, Sifu, Spelunky, The Outer Worlds, Unreal Tournament, Warhammer 40k, and more, which include also, because I saw some PlayStation stuff like God of War, Concord, Ghost of Tsushima, lots of other stuff, whatever. So that's gonna be very interesting to check that out. So I don't think they put no date or anything on that. Or I feel like they said like later this year, but I don't know. Let's see, Starfield. So Starfield got a new free update. The Rev 8 land vehicle and stuff is out now, and then the Shattered Space DLC is coming out September 30th. So that's the date for that. Speaking of dates for RPGs, real quick too, because I can't remember if it was or if I talked about it last time or not or whatever. But Dragon Age, the Veilguard is coming out October 31st as well. So in case I didn't mention that before, whatever. So yeah, so Monument Valley 3 coming out exclusively on Netflix Games on December 10th, along with the original Monument Valley 1 and 2, which I've heard good things about this series. I've just never played it, so maybe I'll check this out. So, and the VR game Batman Arkham Shadow is coming out later this year, so it looks pretty fun and interesting, but I don't have a VR headset to play it on. Let's see. Peter Molyneux announced some new thing called Masters of Albion. Don't really know. Squid Game Unleashed. What is this? It's a Netflix game. Don't really know much about it. Diablo 4 DLC. So yeah. So that's it for, I think, for most of like the big gaming news and headlines and stuff. Let me check from Gamescom. Yeah. So yeah, that was it for the gaming headlines and stuff, whatever, for that. So touch on a couple other game stuff real quick. Okay, so we have had a cultural phenomenon happen this week with the release of Black Myth Wukong. Has already sold 10 million copies across PC and PS5, because remember, this game is supposed to be coming out to Xbox at some point in time, but apparently they're still working on the game or whatever, trying to get it, I guess, running or whatever on Xbox or whatever. But yeah, so 10 million copies across just PC and PS5 is freaking insane. In the first, hasn't even been out a full week or whatever. I think it came out Tuesday, so in 4 days, 10 million copies. It's already shattering Steam concurrent records and stuff, whatever. Which, you know, this makes sense in the context of the game was developed by a Chinese studio, and the game follows a legendary Chinese novel, Journey to the West, which, you know, is also the inspiration for the Dragon Ball series and things like that or whatever. So, of course, a game developed by a Chinese studio on Chinese mythology, whatever. The biggest spike in numbers or whatever is coming from the country of China itself, whatever, which is super awesome to see. And it's kind of funny, like people started realizing where all the numbers and stuff were coming from because of time zones and stuff, because at a certain point in the day here in the US, whatever, the numbers would drop like down to like just like a few 100,000, which is still good. But then, you know, like middle of the night or whatever, the time zone thing, whatever, basically the time like morning for China or whatever, the number would spike back up to a couple million again or whatever. And so people are like, oh, okay, it's a vast majority of this, whatever, is from the actual Chinese market or whatever. So, but yeah, so shout out to Black Myth Wukong. I don't really have too much interest in playing it myself, but I have been watching some streams and different gameplay clips and stuff, whatever, and it definitely looks freaking beastly, like fidelity wise or whatever, and stuff. So yeah, so shout out to that game. Speaking of games, I just want to touch on briefly, Concord is now officially out. So I have been playing the game for a few days now. All right, so Concord is out. Like I said, sorry about this video buffering. It's the launch trailer, but yeah, so Concord is out, and y'all know how much I've talked about enjoying the game and stuff. So I ended up getting the digital deluxe edition so I could play it early. So I've been playing it since Tuesday, and then it officially launched today on Friday, or whatever, for everybody else, whatever. So I just want to just like talk about the game and just kind of share my thoughts and stuff on it. So, like I said, Concord is out, and I have personally been loving my time with the game. I think I've already put in, let me see, I've put in almost 10 hours this week so far, and that's with me mainly just playing like for a little bit, either super late at night or super late in the morning before I go to drop somebody off at school or practice, whatever. But yeah, it has been super dope, super fun. Like I said, I've played it, put in almost 10 hours. I have leveled up. I think my Lark is level 16 as of a while ago, and I got a second variant of him. But yeah, but all in all, man, like it's been dope seeing the new maps and new locations and stuff, and just seeing like some of like the subtle tweaks they've done in the menus and the UI and stuff, whatever, and how and the different solo modes and stuff, whatever. So I guess I'll kind of just like run through things. So once again, just for context, Concord is a 5v5 multiplayer shooter from Firewalk Studios, which is a PlayStation first-party studio. The game is out on PlayStation 5 and PC exclusively for $40, and for that $40, pay for the game, and you get all future seasons, future characters, future maps, all that stuff, whatever, included in the price of purchase. So, with that being said, the game has 16 characters, 12 maps, and 6 game modes at launch. So playing this game, man. So, first off, I guess I'll start with some of like the solo modes, whatever. So there are 3 solo modes. It's just kind of like a shooting range type of thing that you can play with all the characters or whatever, just so you can get used to like using their abilities and shooting their weapons and stuff, whatever. And then there is a training mode with specifically Teo, Starchild, and I think Haymar, where it's kind of like a small, just like course you kind of just run through, learning their movements and stuff, whatever, shooting targets and stuff, whatever. Kind of fun to go through, whatever. And then there's a time trial mode with leaderboards and stuff, whatever, where there is a handful of characters. It is Haymar, Lennox, Roka, Starchild, and I can't remember who the 5th one is right now, but they all have, or it's a time trial, kind of like an obstacle course, to where you're running, basically you're trying to get through the level as fast and as efficient as you can, while racking up points for killing these. It's like some really cool kind of like cardboard cutout things moving around through the levels and stages, whatever, lasers, different things, whatever, smoke grenades, just different stuff, like fun little things that they've done or whatever, that you can kind of go through, get through the level as fast and efficient as you can, with bonus objectives of like, okay, well, hey, take out 3 enemies with 1 special ability attack, whatever, stuff like that or whatever. And so yeah, so that's like really fun stuff that I'm happy to see that they have in there, kind of like play around with the different characters, offline, well, not offline, but solo or whatever. So moving on from that or whatever. So in the menu, they've changed to make things a little bit more visible with the perks and stuff, whatever, for the crew builder. So it kind of makes things a little bit easier to understand. Of like, okay, if I choose this character, this is the perk I am getting, and that will carry over to the next character if I swap characters or whatever. So I really enjoy those tweaks to the menus and stuff, whatever, like that they made with that. And then with the progression and stuff, whatever, I've liked it. It's nothing like super crazy and groundbreaking. It's kind of like, different color variations for your character, their clothing, for their guns and weapons and stuff, whatever. Different accessories like different gloves, or if your character has earrings or different little things like that or whatever, different little things you can swap out and change on your character or whatever. And then some of the characters, of course, have different variants. So let's go back to my favorite alien, Lark. So I've always enjoyed playing as Lark, and then I caught wind, or no, I was looking through like his skill tree upgrade path thing, or whatever, and I saw, I think it was like level 13, 12, 13, something like that, or whatever, where it said Lark variant 2, and I was like, ooh, I did not know that there would be a Lark variant already. So I got it, and I love that variant. I don't even play the original version no more, whatever, and I've even now started going some matches just sticking only with Lark and not changing characters and stuff, whatever, like that, because so the original Lark variant has a buff to where if you do faster reloads if you're standing near some of your spore pods you put on the ground. Well, Lark variant 2, you get stronger damage resistance the more pods you have on the ground. So I've already been kind of doing it, but I'm just damn near for sure just littering the ground with these pods and stuff, man. Like real talk, I am just like running through the level and then just pod. And then the other dope thing is that when you kill an opponent and they die, where their corpse drops is another pod. And it can happen even on people that you don't kill, if it's like an assist or whatever. If you just like get like a few taps on them, whatever, from your gun or something, whatever, you get an assist, that also drops a pod where their body is or whatever. So yeah, Lark variant 2. Ooh, sorry, voice got a little bit scratchy, so I saw it. Lark variant 2 is a beast. And I love him. And I've really now playing about 10 hours or whatever with this character and stuff. I love some of his like little quips and comments and stuff, whatever, saying stuff like I can't remember like specifically what he said, but basically it's like oh yes, my spores are spreading, or my spores don't, or plants don't care about your death or something like that or whatever. It's so many like fun little quips and stuff, lines of dialogue he has, whatever, as you're running through, taking out people or capturing objectives and putting down your pods and stuff, whatever. I love it. So, but yeah, so super dope. Last little thing I'll touch on too with Concord is that I like, for the most part, the trophies, whatever, look very obtainable. So most of them is like getting each character up to level 10. Hold on. So like I was saying, so getting each character up to level 10, destroy 3 deployables in one match, get your first elimination, heal 5,000 damage, heal 10,000 damage, complete 10 daily jobs. I've already gotten that one. Eliminate 3 enemies with your ability. Eliminate 5 enemies in a match. Eliminate 2 enemies in a row. 5 enemies in a row. I've already gotten both of those. Play at least 1 round each with 16 different characters. So I definitely haven't done that yet. Play 100 games. Capture 3 zones in any zone capture mode. Win 100 games. Eliminate 50 enemies with each character. And then, what are some of the other ones? Okay, get to basically leveling up your account to level 50 and level 100. Play with a friend. And yeah, so overall, this looks pretty doable over time, which is nice. It's just a matter of, playing with all the different characters and stuff, whatever. So, but yeah. So all in all, though, I am very happy with Concord, and honestly, I've said this before, and this probably try to be the last time I touch on it or whatever. But it's like I am just ready for the mob to move on to something else, whatever. Because yes, the game has come out. It doesn't have that strong of numbers on Steam right now, whatever. And then of course, we have no way of knowing numbers of how it's doing on PlayStation. But what I will say though is that it is doing fine enough, at least out the gate, to where even when I was playing in the early access on Tuesday or whatever, I have had no problems finding and matching into matches and stuff, whatever. At least to clarify, I've mainly just been playing the the brawl game type mode, which is like team deathmatch, and the kind of basically kill confirmed objectives, and then the overrun, which is basically the capture point one or whatever. I haven't played the real big team focused one or whatever. I haven't played that one or whatever, which I've heard that one has longer wait times or whatever. But as far as like the other stuff I've mainly been playing or whatever, for the most part, I on average get into matches in under 30 seconds, whatever. Some of them, like while the girl was playing, I got in freaking 3 seconds. It was like, boom, here you go. There hasn't been many, if any, technical stuff, whatever, for the game. There haven't been any like crazy crashes or whatever. The one thing I know some people was experiencing, like their character was showing up as invisible or something, whatever was happening with the character model for some people, but they patched that out like within a few hours of the game being out on early access on Tuesday, whatever. So they've been on top of things. They added up a re-queue button or whatever for after the match, where you can just press square and just immediately continue playing or whatever, which is nice because it was very annoying having to go back to the main menu and then go back in again. Though I will say something happened today, whatever, to where that got bugged a little bit, to where sometimes when you launch the game, whatever, that option won't be there. But if you close out of the game and go back in, then it's there from then on out or whatever. So, but yeah, but all in all, I'm happy with Concord. I will continue to rock with Concord as long as it is here. I've been enjoying, once again, the community of people in the Concord Discord and stuff, whatever. So I'm happy with my purchase, whatever. Like I said, I've already got freaking 10 hours of it, just playing here and there, and it fits my pocket of time as far as it is a low lift, low commitment for me or whatever, to where matches are at least in the 2 modes I play in or whatever, are no longer than 10 minutes. A lot of times it's like 5 to 7 minutes or whatever, depending on how things are going or whatever, but 10 minutes max, whatever. And I love that because that's perfect for me or whatever, to where, like I said, like in the morning, because I was able to test this out one morning where I dropped my daughter off at practice, came back home, played like 2 to 4 matches or whatever, and then went back, picked her up, dropped her off at the other school, and then went to work. So it fits in nice into my pocket of time. Late at night, if I'm unwinding, okay, I'll play a match or two or whatever, because they're quick. I love that or whatever, and I love the pace of the game. I don't need or want, personally, all shooters and stuff for it to be super fast, twitchy, running around and stuff, whatever. I just don't play those type of games where it's literally not my speed. And so Concord is a little bit slower or whatever, but still fun and engaging for me. And so, like I said, I have at least 2 to 4 characters that I can reliably rotate through whatever. Like I said, Lark is number 1, Jabali number 2, because Jabali was number 1 until I gave Lark a try during the beta. So, but Lark number 1, Jabali number 2, which I can't wait to see what some of Jabali's variants is. Same thing for my third one, which is Davers. Can't wait to see what some of their variants and stuff is or whatever too, because that freaking grenade launcher and that fire thing definitely come in handy or whatever. And then I look forward to experimenting with the other characters and stuff, whatever, and just seeing how things go from here or whatever. So, because like I said, we're going into the first weekend of launch, and then so shout out to Concord. Shout out to Concord. Okay, so it is 12:30 in the morning, but since I'm already here and I'm still up or whatever, I'm gonna just briefly shout out and just kind of just talk about a little bit of some of the stuff I'm still kind of interested in for the summer anime season so far, because obviously with how busy stuff was, whatever, I literally didn't really get to watch much for probably like a good couple of weeks almost, or whatever. So I was like an episode or two on behind on some shows, and so I spent some of this week when I could chipping away at some stuff here and there. So first of all, before I get to like the current stuff, whatever, I had started watching. I went back and I circled back and started watching some of Handyman Sato in Another World. Odd show, whatever, but something about it, I'm enjoying bits and pieces of it or whatever. So I've been kind of like chipping away at that very slowly. I think I got to maybe like episode 5 or 6, something like that. Let me see. Okay, yeah, I got to like episode like 8. But yeah, so the stuff I'm actively keeping up with. So one of the main ones is Dahlia in Bloom, or Magic Artisan Dahlia. That's been like a nice wholesome watch that I've just been enjoying. Like I said, especially now being anime only, because the anime is now past where I have read in the manga. So shout out to Dahlia. I'm 3 episodes behind of Elusive Samurai before tomorrow, so I need to catch up on that. I don't know. I just haven't felt super drawn or compelled to rush to watch that one or whatever. So I liked those first few episodes or whatever, but I just hadn't been top of the list to watch or whatever. So Yatagarasu, I put on pause. I purposely was waiting because that is going to be 20 episodes, and I think it might be going on hiatus after this next episode, maybe for a little bit. So I don't know, but I'm at this point, they're about to have episode 16 of 20. I'll just wait another month or whatever to binge watch it all, whatever. But that one is really good, but gonna wait on it. Makime or Makine, Too Many Losing Heroines. That's been a really nice, wholesome show. It was nice getting to watch the last 2 or so episodes back to back. Good show. We really enjoy that kind of a slice of life romance show. Wisteria, Wanda Sword is one that I've kind of tried to keep up with every Sunday. Tower of God, I might just end up just pausing this for now because I haven't watched anything past episode 1. Same thing. I just not really drawn to watch it right now. So, especially because like years ago after the first season, I had read a good chunk of Tower of God. So a lot of the stuff that they're covering right now in the anime, I read years ago. But of course, don't really remember much of it or whatever at this point. So, but I don't know. I'll probably pause. Matter of fact, live on air. Put this on pause because I'm clearly not keeping up with it. Okay. Let's see. A journey through another world, raising kids while adventuring. Just a fun, wholesome show. It is simul-dubbed. I just turn my brain off. Just watch this guy with these two adorable cute kids beat up some monsters in some dungeons and adventure and stuff, whatever. Fun and cute. That's all I need to say on that. The Osan Newbie Adventure. I am 5 episodes behind on this, so I watched 2 episodes. I want to circle back to it, but it's not one that I am chomping at the bit, as they say, to get back to. So who knows? Maybe when it's finished, I might circle back to it. But right now, not really drawn to it. Don't really care. Next up, No Longer Allowed in Another World. That has continued to be really solid to watch. It was, once again, good to have a few episodes built up to just watch back to back. But I've still been really enjoying my time watching that show. Like I said, just like Dahlia, I am now seeing stuff beyond what I have read a year or two ago, so that's always exciting. The Strongest Magician in the Demon Lord's Army was human. That one's been okay as well. Nothing too crazy or fancy about it. Just solid, mindless show to watch. So I caught up on that one. Sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. So I was like 4 episodes behind on this the other day. And so it was great to watch like 4 episodes of this show. 4 or 5, I can't remember. I think I'd only watched 2 episodes, but anywho, I was like 4 or so episodes behind, and it's been really, really good. And I had made a mention online the other day that the way things are going, or the way things have gone with this like student council stuff or whatever, and debating and all this stuff coming up, whatever, these last like 2-3 episodes, whatever, it started giving me some Classroom of the Elite vibes and Ayana Koji, because it definitely feels like there's more going on with the main guy character or whatever, because like seeing that those like quick glimpses and stories of his father and stuff, whatever, definitely reminds me of situations with Ayana Koji and his dad and Classroom of the Elite. So I was like, ooh. But that's been like a nice little slice of life show. I parry everything, just mindless fun, with a endearing MC. I just seeing this guy literally, as the title says, parry everything, whatever. So that was fun catching up on the other day. I was like a few episodes behind on that. Failure Frame. I became the strongest and annihilated everything with low level spells. This has been the worst show that I'm keeping up with. And what I mean by that, I've talked about it before, but like the CG and stuff, whatever. Though I will say, the most recent episode didn't really notice too much CG, but of course, I don't think they really didn't fight too many monsters either. So, but I don't know. I'm just still sticking with it for the freaking revenge plot or whatever. But it's nothing fantastical. But just like some of these other shows I mentioned or whatever, it's just mindless fun and entertainment or whatever to watch. So, Code Geass Rose, I'm 3 episodes behind on that now because the new one just came out yesterday, so I'm 3 episodes behind. So I definitely need to catch up on that. So because we're getting close to the season finale. It's going to be 12 episodes. So, but that's been really good. I did a whole separate episode, podcast episode, discussing Code Geass Rose. So go listen to that. But yeah, loving this show. Dungeon People. So this was one that I had let build up a bit or whatever. So I think I had only watched episode 2, I think. So I was like about 4 episodes behind, and that was a nice little binge watch or whatever. I just really like something about like the art style gets my attention, and just the premise of them kind of working behind the scenes, operating this dungeon and hiring monsters, and how all the economics of all that stuff whatever kind of work, while the MC, she's also still trying to find her father, who is supposedly maybe somewhere deeper in the dungeon, yada yada yada. So but yeah, so that's been like a nice little watch. Now, Quality Assurance in Another World. I am 4 episodes behind on this, and I have not touched it. Now, I am debating on continuing forward or not, because going into this season, Quality Assurance in Another World and Dungeon People were 2 that I were highly anticipating, just because I had been looking at the manga covers and stuff for them and the description for a few years at this point or whatever, and I always been interested in those series, but I was always just kind of like, I don't know, not really gonna jump into it or force it or whatever. And so, Dungeon People, I think, is the better of the 2, because Quality Assurance, I don't know, it's just like it's missing something, but I want to like it, but I don't know, I'm just not like super drawn to keep up with it or whatever. So I don't know, I might try to push through and catch up on these 4 episodes I'm behind on, and then make a judgment, but right now, not looking too good. Now, there's another one I have added on here that I tried to wait, just because I knew this was going to be like a 20 episode thing, and it is simul-dubbed and stuff, so I know it's not going to be a thing like, okay, well, it's done, but I still got to wait a little bit longer or whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool, it's simul-dubbed, and the series I'm talking about is Dead Demons. I'll just say Destruction. Dead Demons Destruction. This is a series that I've had my eye on for many years, just because the covers for the manga definitely catches your attention. Very eye-catching and stuff. And so, just like the premise and like the little bit hints I had seen and heard about it or whatever, I was like, this might be something that Robert would be into, whatever. And so I was like, you know what, if it's gonna be 20 episodes or whatever, I'll just wait. Well, with the way life has been lately, whatever, I was sitting down the other day and I was like, I want to watch something, but nothing that I'm currently watching or whatever. And so I was like, oh yeah, Dead Demons is dubbed or whatever, so let me try this or whatever. So the premise for this, and let me go back to the anime. As the world is threatened by the sudden appearance of a mysterious alien mothership, best friends Koyama Kodode and Nakagawa Oran carry on their high school life. But as they grow up, they face existential questions, learning adulthood's complexities, and that the true threat may not be from above. So, yeah, so it is some high school girls dealing with a alien invasion situation or whatever. So, I've watched 2 or 3 episodes or whatever, and first of all, like, visually, this show is great. It is on point. What is the Studio Plus H? Never heard of them. Don't know what they're doing or what they have done. Let me see. The Orbital Children, that was okay visually. But yeah, they seem like a newer studio, because they don't have many projects listed under them, whatever. So, but anywho, but yeah, so this is a series that I've been interested in for quite some time now. The author of the manga is Inuo Asano, who, let me see, currently is doing this series called Mujina Into the Deep, which I think I might have talked about it like briefly, like a year or so ago when it first started. What are some other series that I've read of his? Downfall. That is one. Yeah, Downfall. I did a podcast episode about this manga a couple of years ago, I believe. But yeah, same person behind Dead Demons did Downfall, as well as Goodnight Poom Poom and Solonin, which I've read Solonin, enjoyed. I have not read Goodnight Poom Poom, but yeah. So Dead Demons has been really good, really good. I am really enjoying that show. Like I said, the few episodes that I have watched of it. So yeah, and so I think that's it as far as like the anime I'm keeping up with. And I think that's gonna do it for the show because it is almost 1 a.m. I will say now, in hindsight, I am very happy that I did this section talking about the manga I'm keeping up with, because it helped me find two things that I had been looking for a couple of weeks, whatever. One is a pair of socks I bought Vash for school. For some reason, I put them in the bag and like tossed it like down here at the bottom of the bookshelf, whatever. I don't know. And then my toolkit for work. I have a green little miniature screwdriver set or whatever that I use for my laptops and computers and stuff, whatever at work. And the occasional glasses fix. And it's been missing for like a month. And so I'm like, what the heck? And so for some reason, it was in a bag wrapped up on top of the manga on the very bottom shelf. So I would have never found it in a long time until luckily Downfall was also down there and I happened to find it. So it all worked out. My manga saves the day. But so with that being said, thank y'all so much for watching and or listening. Let me know your thoughts on what anime and stuff that y'all are keeping up with. Let me know your thoughts on if you're playing and enjoying Concord, if you're playing Black Myth Wukong, any of the Gamescom announcements, or if your kids also went back to school. Let me know if you had a better or worse time than me. But thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate the love and support that y'all show me, and safe travels to y'all out there that are going to I think it's Anime NYC this weekend. So I know a lot of my mutuals and stuff are there. And yeah, that's it. So with that being said, I am out. And of course, in closing, as I truly always say, treat yourself to something nice. So sorry. As I truly always say, read some manga, watch some anime, TV shows, movies, and of course, play some video games. And as always, live your best life. And with that, I am out. Y'all have an awesome day, rest or weekend, rest of your week. And I will catch you on the next one. I'm heading back to playing more Concord. And I'll see y'all in the next episode. Y'all be easy.